All right, so today we're going to learn all about Ted Cruz. So, in his early life, he was born in December 22nd, 1970 in Calgary, Canada, and then they moved to the United States later on. He spent most of his life growing up in Houston. And then he was a youth group member who he really found a knack for public speaking when he was younger. And he grew off of that to become the high school valedictorian of his class. Then for college, he went to Princeton and followed up to get a degree at Harvard Law School. So, his career track. He became the director at the Office of Party Planning in 2001, and then he went on to become the Solicitor General of Texas in 2003. When George W. Bush was running for president, he was his campaign advisor as well. There he is. He is also worked as an attorney for a while, and then he also worked as a clerk for the Supreme Court, which is pretty fascinating. Then he also went on to have his own private law practice. So political track. So his legislative career was mainly, he ran for the Senate in 2012. He won against David Dewhurst, which was the current lieutenant governor of Texas at the time. And then he went ahead to become one of the Texas senators. For the executive, he ran for president in 2016, or was running this year. And then he dropped out of the election once Trump kind of started to take the lead. And he didn't want to endorse Trump at first for a nomination because he didn't agree with Trump and didn't like him. But finally, after a while, decided to endorse Trump because he was so against Hillary Clinton. So political standing. He was a Republican, and what won him the Senate election was because he was an extreme conservative, which is very boosting when you're in Texas. He wants a flat tax system, which is where everybody gets the same percent tax on their income, so that way you don't have as many loopholes in the tax system and people getting out of it. He's pro-life, so against abortion, wants to have living. He's for legal immigration, but not illegal immigration. His parents were from the Middle East and Europe, and they came to Canada and then the United States. So he is definitely all for legal immigration. He is also for border control to crack down on the illegal immigration too. So he is against same-sex marriage, which as most conservatives are. He also believes that global warming is a hoax and that it's a natural cycle of the earth. He's against abortion, same with the pro-life thing. He's also against Hillary. And he is for the death penalty, so he's definitely against revoking it. And he is very much so against Obamacare. So other standings that he has is he argued at the Supreme Court on 9 occasions before he went on to become a senator and a presidential candidate. He argued to keep the death penalty due to a very violent crime which happened. It was a citizen of Mexico raped and killed 2 teenage girls, and he argued to keep the death penalty for that crime. He also gave a speech against Obamacare in Congress, and it was a 15-hour speech on why we shouldn't have it and what is wrong with it. He also led to the government shutdown with these arguments. So he's in a lot of committees. Some of his Senate committees are Commerce, Science, Transportation, the Judiciary one, Armed Services one, and Rules and Administration. The subcommittees he's chairman of is Space, Science, and Competitiveness, Oversight, Agency Action, Federal Rights, and Federal Courts. His subcommittee memberships include Aviation Operations and Security, communications, tech innovation and internet, consumer protection, product safety, insurance, and data security, oceans, atmosphere, fisheries, and coast guard, and also immigration and the national interest, the Constitution Joint Economic Committee, emerging threats and capabilities, sea power, and strategic forces. So some of these committees are Commerce, Science, and Transportation. He's just involved in the Senate's committee of that. Also with the judicial branch, the military, administering rules. The chairman of subcommittees means that he runs that particular subcommittee. So he is one on the space, science, and competitiveness, which is basically the U.S. going forward in the science track. And when I hear this committee, I think of the Cold War and how it was the big space race. So that's just something I think of. And then subcommittee memberships means he's just a part of these committees, which is like, so plane operations and the security within it, so airports and stuff like that. Communications, tech innovation, and internet, so moving forward with the internet and communicating throughout the world. Consumer protection, product safety, insurance, and data security is just making sure that people are protected from any products that they buy. He's also a part of the one that protects the oceans, atmospheres, fisheries, and coast guard, which is ironic considering that he's very against global warming, but he does want to work to help keep these areas clean by being a part of this committee. And then, so immigration and the national interest. So we both know that he is pro-legal immigration, so that's what he's arguing for in that one. He's a part of a joint committee, economic committee. Sorry. He's part of a joint economic committee, and so that's basically a committee that's both Republican, conservative, and Democrat liberal, and on economics and the country's economics. Emerging threats and capabilities, and then sea powers, so the Navy and what we can do, and strategic forces. So here are my works cited.